Okay, we're going to open up the Charter Review Committee meeting of July 27th. It's Tuesday evening. We are late starting. We apologize. It's just a matter of not having enough people at last minute. Our member Leduc here is now a little quarantined. So we decided to try to run this as an open and remote meeting, a bit of a hybrid. So just for public knowledge, we are recording it with the Southbridge cable, and we are also recording it on the computer. So take the lead here. We did. I just want to let you know that we did meet last night. Oh shoot! Roll call. Sorry, I know we're on a meeting. Roll call.
Please comments.
Present.
Pam Leduc.
Present.
Yvonne Torres present. Andrew Murch absent.
Yeah, we don't know. We haven't heard from Andrew. So
Okay.
I do apologize. So so I did stop. We did come over to the town hall last night, myself and Yvonne, and we gave an update to the council on the first part of the first 6 months here or whatever. I have a document that I'll make sure you get, Pam, just explaining, it's the letter of first meeting of the review committee, what we did, what we're doing, and we've gone. They asked us a number of questions that both of us answered some questions. Just for your knowledge, Councilor Marchetti brought up the member who was discussing, actually, I don't know if he said you by name, but
No, you didn't.
no, but he brought up the issue of whether or not we are trying to push to have, I'd say, in my words, the council abdicate their financial responsibilities by giving more financial power to the town manager, as we were talking. And he mentioned some things, and of course, I mentioned your name too, in the fact that you commented about, we budget items, they're already done, it should be able to be spent within that department. So, anyway, those are just some of the things, and you can always see the video. It's already posted on YouTube if you want to watch that presentation. All right. We have minutes of the 29th. Do you want to consider, do we have a motion to consider and accept the minutes 29?
Changes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And discussion of the minutes. Any discussion on the minutes? Any discussion, Pam, on the minutes?
Nope, I didn't have any.
Okay.
I complimented Yvonne on her minutes have changed a little bit as we've gone forward, and it's much more
Easier to follow now, Pam.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense. Okay. Yeah, I'm good. So all in favor on the minutes?
Yep.
It's 3, all present. Okay, so those minutes are set aside. We're going to continue now with chapter 10.
Chapter 10, section 9-1. That's what we
Keep
started.
saying that. I keep saying that. I didn't think we finished that.
We did the last.
The 10A2?
Yep, that stays as is.
Okay.
And then we start here at supplemental appropriation.
Because I had no check mark here. After the public hearing on or before the end of the 11th month of the first state, town council adopts capital improvement program, a resolution with that, and each amendment must be voted separately, and any increase in the capital improvement program submitted is clearly identified with method of financing. Oh, that's correct, because that was the one that actually said, for the capital it says method of financing, but for the regular budget it doesn't.
Right.
So, okay. All right. And I mentioned that last night, Pam, that was a problem we noticed. We also talked about the fact that the old charter sometimes had language that we felt should be still in this charter, and that we're trying to meld them before we presented anything. Okay, take it away, Pam.
We're doing what, 10-1?
Section 9, 10-91, supplemental appropriations.
All right, we hadn't done that one yet. Oh, no, here's my note right here. Okay. All right, so if during the fiscal year, the town manager certifies through the finance director that revenues in excess of those estimated in the budget are available for appropriation, the town council may make supplemental appropriations for the year up to the amount of such excess.
I guess. Anybody have any comments? Does that just tie in though with, excess like we talked about? Even if there's excess within the department?
No, this is, this would be excess revenues.
Oh, excess revenues, I'm sorry, right.
Yeah. Not balance in the appropriations.
Yeah. All right, I guess it's fine. If anybody agree?
So it stays as is? Pam?
Yeah.
10-1. To meet a public emergency affecting life, health, property, or the public peace, the town council may make emergency appropriations. Any such emergency order shall be so declared in an emergency preamble thereto, separately voted on, and receiving the affirmative vote of at least 2/3 of the full council membership, i.e. a minimum of 6 votes.
Shouldn't the statute be referenced there? The emergency appropriation statute?
The state statute.
Correct.
Never thought about that. Was it in?
We can keep going, but I'd like to look up the statute and just.
I'm curious if that was in.
The old one?
Yes.
Was it an old one?
It's in the same section. It's not the same section.
No, it's not.
Very different section.
This whole thing is not even the same as it is.
Yeah, I know the old one. Yeah, I know the old one is quite. Emergency appropriation is 991 in the old 16, and it does.
It's not listed there either.
Yeah, the old one didn't reference anything either. It just talked
It
about.
doesn't even say that it has to be a 2/3 vote.
I know the old one.
The old one doesn't list the 2/3 vote.
But I think that's important because that happened when the building broke, when Main Street had fire. And they had a vote on appropriating money to take the building down, I believe. Now, was there 2/3? I'm not sure.
Do you see what it says in the old one, Pam?
No, I don't see the old one. I'm looking up the statute here. I know they eased some of the restrictions and with regard to COVID-19.
Any such emergency order shall be so declared in an emergency preamble. So you think the state probably has some sort of statement?
Well, it has to be, if you approve an emergency appropriation in excess of what's budgeted, which is an emergency appropriation by definition, you have to get the director of accounts approval to do that.
That it says, the town council.
Everything on here is about COVID-19.
Yeah, the other one, they don't even say the other, just says, to meet a public emergency affecting life, health, property, or the public peace, the town council may make emergency appropriations to the extent that there are no available unappropriated revenues to meet such appropriation. The town council may authorize the issuance of emergency notes, which may be renewed from time to time, but the emergency notes and renewals of any fiscal year shall be repaid no later than the last day of the fiscal year next, succeeding that in which the emergency appropriation was made. That's weird.
All right, can we just I'm gonna make a note here. Can we come back to this one?
Sure, flag.
I just want to flag it, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you're just trying to tie it in with the state so that it's got more.
Right, because, I mean, I don't think an approval by council isn't all it takes. It also takes the approval of the director of accounts. So,
Interesting.
so we can keep going, we'll just flag it.
Okay. All right, section 11.
All right. Are we taking turns?
Sure, let's take turns.
All right, Yvonne, it's your turn.
Reduction or restriction of use of appropriations, 1011-1. If at any time during the fiscal year it appears probable to the town manager that the revenues available will be insufficient to meet the amount appropriated, he or she shall report to the town council without delay, indicating the estimated amount of the deficit and any remedial action taken by him or her and his or her recommendations as to any other steps to be taken. The town council shall then take such further action as it deems necessary, and for that purpose may reduce, restrict, or limit the use of the unexpended balance of appropriations.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
It's the same 910-1 in the old charter, like verbatim. So, okay.
That stays.
Sure. You're all set with it, Pam? Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Great. 10 to 12 to 1.
Okay.
This is
Section-
interesting.
Oh, section 12, transfer of appropriations, 10-12-1. At any time during the fiscal year, the town council may, upon recommendation of the town manager through the finance director, transfer part or all of any unencumbered appropriation balance among programs within a department, office, or agency, and may transfer part or all of any unencumbered appropriation balance from one department, office, or agency to another.
So, just for note, under that same section in the old one, it was at any time during the fiscal year, the town manager may transfer part or all of any unencumbered appropriation balances among programs within a department, office, or agency, and upon written request by the town manager, the council may transfer part or all of any unencumbered appropriation balance from one department to the other.
See, that makes
That's
sense.
exactly what it should still be.
Yeah.
Within the department, the TM would have.
Correct. In my opinion, that's how it should be.
Yep. Somewhere along the line, somebody said, oh no, the council should do all. And that's where we have the problem. Wow. So that's 911-1 in the old charter. Something to discuss. So. And interestingly, when I don't know why I've never really read that very much, because I always read about the council gets to do everything, but so many times that was highlighted in one way, shape, or form with even in the departments, you know.
I mean, do we know what the rationale was to change that?
Would it be in the, they have notes? You know, sometimes chapter 14 is the notes. There's a note on number, section 11. 1, 7. Under charter revision notes, I see nothing in regard to that particular item. It was changed, so unless we can find minutes of some sorts, or the.
So I could go back to Maddie in the town clerk's office and ask for that
Exactly,
section,
yeah.
like I did for the others, but that, I'm gonna tell you right now that the stuff I got from Maddie, looking for what we wanted to find out before, doesn't give you much information.
Did they not have to keep records when they have
All I have is this kind of stuff, and,
the old charter?
yeah. It just says amended and repealed and all that kind of stuff, but there isn't much of an explanation as to why. So I can check it if you want. It's not a problem.
I'd just be interested in knowing what their thought process was to change that. I mean, was it just to take power away from the town manager?
Well, we know we've been told numerous times at the beginning of this, Mr. Nicketts commented about issues they were having with various town managers back when this charter was redone. So maybe that was it.
Again, I look at that differently, where you can't make decisions based on individuals. You need to look at the position, and it's the responsibility of the council to hold that person accountable. And if you're having a problem with, a particular individual, then that's the council's problem. But don't go and change, a process just because of that. My opinion.
So would our recommendation be to at least suggest, or I'm not sure what we want to do with that, because that's the transfer situation, And it's so small, it's not a very large situation, the way we made a transfer policy with percent, how much amount would be transferred, and then council had to be aware of anything over a certain amount, which is still fine, that's more of a policy. So if you have this transfer in here, the way the old one was, for instance, and you then tie it to a, not policy, what do you call it? It's a little book of things, procedure. Standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
If you make a standard operating procedure that further defines, perhaps you still want to know if it's a large transfer that's within a department. Maybe you still want to know stuff over 5,000 or 10,000 or something, because that should be, council should know what's going on.
Right, exactly. And the town manager should, in his or her report to council, should know that. I mean, I'm assuming if there's a transfer like that has to be made, something beneficial or material happened within that department to require that type of transfer. So council should be made aware of it anyway.
Should. It's right. I agree with you completely. You shouldn't have to write policies in order to keep tabs on someone that you hired to do the best job for this community that they can. It's sad when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think reverting back to the old charter makes total sense. I don't know how present council, but again, if they want to have a policy, a standard operating procedure rather, in some way, shape, or form, I'm not against that. That's something that to debate differently. But at least this would alleviate a lot of what's been going on the last couple of years.
Right.
So.
Right.
We have the council chair here. I don't know if he wants to weigh in at all. Anything to say, Mr. Daniel?
I'd like to hear the old charter section again.
Okay.
So let me read it.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
At any time during the fiscal year, the town manager may transfer part or all of any unencumbered appropriation balance among programs within a department, office, or agency. And upon written request by the town manager, the town council may transfer part or all of any unencumbered appropriation balance from one department, office, or agency to another.
So within the department, so for instance, police department has a lot of transfers for overtime, that type of stuff, okay? But if it's ever gonna be a forklift where you take it from the water company and from the, and you try to put it together for a $30,000 forklift, you can't do that without vote of the council.
John, do you want a copy of this book?
So any smaller, there is no limits to this, but as I said, the operating procedure that then goes one step further that says, we think this is good, but we would really want to make sure that we are notified when the transfers are, over 5,000 or reach a certain amount during a month, any given month, or, those safeguards to know that you're always alerted, but
My first concern is that council should be notified or somehow needs to be made aware of what it is.
You guys, I'm going to have to, excuse myself for a minute.
Okay,
Okay, I'll be back.
okay. We'll give you time.
So, and aside from the concern, my personal feeling is that, well, not knowing the exact pleasure of the council at this point as a whole, my personal concern is that if you were to keep it more in keeping with what it is now, then perhaps the dollar figure in terms of the limit to the amount of transfer that can happen without prior approval of the council might be a way to go.
So I know one of the concerns was that some people consider that abdicating your duty because charter said specifically this, you know, which is the council does all the transfers. Specifically, at any time, at any time of the year, council may, upon recommendation, enter through the direct transfer part of it. So that's why, among or within or outside of TIF, it was all in the council versus within the department. So, you know, but all the smaller department transfers, like we have some money here, we need some more paper there, we need the desk, we need, you know, those are all the things that are coming.
Good management policy doesn't encumber tedious tasks and policy and procedure, which really ends up what the council is trying to do as well.
Right.
So it should be onerous.
Right. I think that was Pam's point before, as having been a town manager and basically running Wales now with that, how she does this. It's called the secretary position, but it's basically she's took a selectman, so she is it. There was no administrative position. She was saying, yeah, if you're trying to just run the day to day and you're continually having to go for permission, when it's already voted for you to use it within that department. So if it's within that department, why is that such a big deal? I think there are limits. I think if it's within the department that you're transferring large sums of money, then the council should always know about the large sums. They should know. They may not have to vote on it. They should know about it, you know, because then they could question that. So we use, you know, the policy of something over $5,000. But also the safeguard was supposed to be that every month, at least the policy we tried to do, was every month there would be a sheet, you know, given to the councilors, whether they review it or not is their business, but certainly it was there to at least see what had gone on with the, you know, transfers that had happened and stuff. And we were told by Ms. Harno at the time that it would be difficult to run a report like that. Now, whether that was done at the last TM, I highly doubt it. I'm pretty sure that it stopped. And I don't know. I know we asked, and that was supposed to be the way. And then when I left council, I'm not sure what the councilors got. But I do know that they weren't informed of every transfer. So
They used to get monthly reports from accounting.
right, they were supposed
Every month, Karen would do that.
Okay, but I thought towards the end that was not. Yeah.
I know that when I
Something
first
happens. I
started
asked
here,
about it.
they got them.
Yeah. So that was the safeguard to say, wait a minute, we're seeing too much going on, say the overtime budget or whatever, you know, taking from Peter to pay Paul or whatever. Yeah, so there was a safeguard. It was a matter of.
Then perhaps as a safeguard, you institute some sort of dollar, upper dollar limit, the amount of the transfer that can be done without prior approval of the council.
Right. So in the charter, you generally wouldn't put something so finite. You would put the policy of who does what. But then in your standard operating procedure, which is voted by council, which was voted by council, and then was axed by council, that's where you put all those restrictions. Because there's certain things, like we refer to, sometimes in the charter, we refer to a councilor's regs, or something like that, rather than putting the council, the rule or whatever, what council voted on here. This is the broad picture, and then the smaller, like the bylaws and stuff. That's after the fact. So I don't know. This is a transfer thing.
I just know that it's very cumbersome when you transfer small amounts from one department budget item to another department to have to go to subcommittee and to council for, which we got one for now, $5.
Within the department.
Within
yeah. Outside the department.
If it's outside the department,
That you can't do it.
you can't do it. I get that. But even within the department, a small valued amount of a transfer having to go to subcommittee and holds up a whole lot of stuff unnecessarily.
My personal opinion, not speaking for the council, strictly my personal opinion, is that the way the system is working this second is not efficient, and there needs to be something, needs to be some change effective to make it run more efficiently.
Well, again, we go back to the old charter, which, was the original, 1970.
It looks like rain and your rear windows are open in your car. It appears that it's going to rain and that Denise's rear windows are down.
Yeah, not worried about it. This is a warning I just received.
Michael McCall just told me.
Your phone told you that. Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
Michael McCall told me that.
Well, so it's interesting because this goes from one deal and then it completely, it changes. I don't know. The manager may transfer part of all unencumbered among programs within the department, office, or agency. Written request, he may, written request by the town manager, the council may transfer part of all. I mean, the council, from that's between one department to another. So police, fire, you couldn't do it unless the council voted on it, or something, even office stuff. So I don't know. It's a real, that's a big change. And I had not read it until we pulled it out tonight, so I didn't even realize this. I didn't, I'm not sure what we, oh, is it really on that?
I told her, she said she wasn't worried about it.
I didn't know that. Thank you so much. Shut up. Push the button, if you push the brake. Now the town knows how my car works. Thanks for indulging.
Personally, I like mine a lot more.
So we might make a recommendation to revert back to that. You could also make a recommendation to revert back to that, but put in
According to standard
according,
operating procedures.
within standing operating procedures as established by council. Something so simple, no, very generic. Council may adopt standing operating procedures, or something like that.
And that standard operating procedure will give you guidelines as to what the town manager can transfer and the amount that can be transferred within the department. But I think part of that standard operating procedure should also list the monthly transfers or something that we should get a monthly transfer report out to the council, which gives you an idea of what's being spent monthly. That could be included as part of the operating procedure.
And it was. So,
and it was at one point, so it can be done.
So if it's in charter, you're not advocating to, in other words, if you put it in charter like it was, and you could potentially put that in, for time, because in the charter it says, council may adopt rules, regulations, and more, except at the very beginning of the charter. At any time, council may do that's under the council can do.
Chapter 1.
Powers and duties.
Oh, and powers and duties.
Something like that, yes. Yeah, there's a line that says, is that? Yeah. Well, it was working the other way, nobody was paying attention. And then somebody said, we can do that. Thank you.
Good night.
Where is that? It's weird.
And duties,
It's like,
any power functions of the Constitution, the intent or purpose of the vote. Chapter 1. Are you talking powers and duties of the council?
That's what the council does. I don't know that division that I'm talking about. It's weird. There's a line, which has been read to me many times and I've used. Let's see the charter, subject powers of which side. missing something?
Let's check.
Weird. I'm talking about that line that says
Yep.
the council may.
But I took everything apart.
That is weird. It's also the part where it says if it's ever unclear, council makes the decision. Is that? Well, I'm missing something. It's me. Something, it's ever.
Sorry. Hey, whoops.
Nice mask. Didn't we go over this section in charter that says if it's ever unclear as to the powers of the charter, and then it says from time to time, council may adopt rules, regulations, blah, blah, blah. Isn't that in the,
Yeah.
where? I can't locate what I'm talking about. Lost it. I got it.
Well, in definitions, right, we have measure, shall refer to any enactment, vote, resolution, or motion by the town council other than a bylaw.
Right, but there's a line. I've referred to it when I've talked to people about issues when it came to council. There's a line in the charter that says, if it is ever unclear as to where the power, or but at time to time, council may enact measures, blah, 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 blah. Unless it's council rules and regs, which doesn't make sense. It should be under. Oh, well, it's driving me nuts, but I don't know where it is. It's better than
So 242, the council may enact bylaws and other measures and rules and regulations not inconsistent with this charter, governing its own proceedings and other matters pertaining to the exercise of its powers and the performance of its duties.
I am missing that page.
Oh, that's 242.
I go from 23 to 29, I didn't notice that. That's why I can't find it. I must have ripped it out. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I thought it was losing my mind for a minute. That's section 2. I should chapter 2. Let's see. Thank you, town council.
So we're discussing Pam 9-11-1.
So as long as they're not inconsistent with the charter. So that's why it's important that the charter say it can be done. So if they do a measure, then to say that the town manager can do. So if you revert back to the old one, and the town manager can change funds, transfer funds within the department. And I said that we could add something in there that the council may adopt policies and procedures in relation to this. You can put something like that. You don't say what it is, you just say they have the power to do that. But we know they have the power to do that because technically refer to 242 at any time.
242, right.
So you can refer to 242. Council can adopt the policy that goes along with that transfer. So the town manager can do that, but council can adopt a procedure like we did. The standard operating procedure says, all right, interdepartment, but it's $5,000 or whatever, $2,000, I don't care what it is. And that they also will get a report every month of what the transfers are, you know, yada, yada, yada. Right, whatever the council wants. So if we revert back to the old one and put the town manager may do, you know, and then at any time council may provide for, standard operating procedure or procedures.
Yep, pursuant to 242, yep.
Yeah, that might work, because then that will take away the component of, being against charter, like doing something against charter, because charter now says the council, the manager can do it, but we can make it stronger by putting a procedure in, which we didn't have that ability before, that every single year advocating and doing this. No, we're voting right now to let him do this much, and they still didn't want that. So,
I mean, I'm sorry, but doesn't council have other things to worry about than transferring $1,000 from fire expenses to fire, salaries? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Who's there with you? I probably should.
John Daniel.
he agrees with you.
All right. I'm sorry because I'm going to get myself in trouble.
No, you have to watch the rerun of this, because Mr. Chairman Daniel, commented that he agrees with 911. He actually liked it better than the current, except he would like to see some oversight. That there is some oversight to it, not carte blanche.
Right.
So,
but you have very qualified individuals in the finance director and the town manager to grill the departments and make sure that if they're requesting a transfer, what it's to be used for, and it's to be used properly. So that's what you hire them for.
So then we should put in a amendment to this. And our logic is looking back at 911 and also 242 as reference that council has oversight. So as long as we put it in, goes back to the way it was with the oversight, it makes sense.
Yes.
So let's see.
So we're basing it on the old one, 911-1.
Right, but I want to make sure, say at any time during the fiscal year, the town manager, I want to see if that's the only thing that changed. So if that goes back to manager, may upon, so this is may upon recommendation of but we don't need that because it's, okay, at any time during the fiscal year, the town manager may transfer part or all of any income appropriate programs within the department officer, agency, and upon request by the manager, the council. Yeah, actually, I think, 9/11, but somewhere in between that, he can do it, let's see, not the and, so you put a period.
Wait. Put a period where?
Okay, so say he can do this, department office or agency, period. And then, we need to put the reference in, council may adopt, we need to put something in there that strengthens that the council has the right to adopt policy to that, or something, we need to put that reference to 242 in there.
Town council may adopt policies and procedures.
How about standard operating?
From time to, you want to do it from time to time?
Yeah, from time to time. Yep.
May adopt what policies and procedures from time to time?
From time to time, town council may adopt policies and procedures. That's what it says. In accordance with section 242. And acts, laws, other measures, rules, regulations, consistent with charter.
Section 242 of the charter.
In accordance with section 242?
Yep.
Of the charter.
Yeah.
So from time to time, the town council may adopt policies and procedures in accordance with section 242 of the charter. Right?
I think so. Does that make sense that way? Oh, wait a minute, not time from time. How about the words notwithstanding the town council may adopt? No? You know how, isn't the word, isn't that?
Notwithstanding what?
In other words, so you told them you can do this. Do you say the word notwithstanding? No, maybe not. I was just thinking it seemed that.
I would just say something about town council may adopt policies and procedures with regard to limitations or, something like that.
Town council may adopt Policies and procedures
Well, she said limitations, which should make sense.
within limitations? What did you say, Pam?
No, with regard to, they may adopt policies and procedures with regard to limitations.
With regard-
On such appropriations.
Yes, of such transfers, on such transfers.
Okay.
So, town council may adopt policies and procedures with regard to limitations on,
Such transfers?
Such transfers,
Because the word such goes back to these transfers, which are the encumbered within the department.
yeah,
okay. What else?
That was it.
That's it?
Yeah, we need to-
well, pursuant to section 242 of this chart.
Yeah,
Okay.
I knew we need to say that. Pursuant.
Pursuant to section 242 of the charter.
And then the second sentence is, or a third sentence would be, town council may, upon recommendation of the town manager through the finance director,
And
transfer part or all of any of the encumbered appropriation balance from one department, office, or agency to another.
so that would be, what about this upon written request by the town manager? Where does that go?
Maybe not, take it out. She's saying leave the newer one. The newer one. It's part of it.
So what are we, so this is the old one here, and now we're going back to the new one?
Yes.
Okay, so what did you just say, Pam?
The town council may,
Where
comma,
is that?
upon,
It's right, wait. It's in
Wait.
halfway in the first sentence of
Yep.
the charter. See, it says the town council may, upon. It's on the very first sentence.
Oh, okay, right.
So across, not the beginning, just the middle.
Okay, so the town council may, upon recommendation of the town manager through the finance
through the finance
director,
director, comma, yep,
transfer part or all of any of unencumbered appropriation balance on programs, the whole thing?
no,
No?
then go to the last sentence, from one department, office, or agency to another.
So through the finance director, transfer part or any of all encumbered appropriations from one department, office, or agency to another?
Correct.
Right, because we're not doing the within is already going to be accounted for by using 911.
That's right.
Town council may, upon recommendation of the town manager through the finance director, transfer part or all of any unencumbered appropriation
Appropriation balance.
balance. Leave balance in there? Okay. What's the rest of it?
We already got that. Unencumbered appropriation balance from one department, office, agency, or another. So you cross off like a
All
line.
right, now I got it, okay.
All right?
Yep.
So if this is right, it would be at any time during the fiscal year, the town manager may transfer part or all of any unencumbered appropriation balance among programs within a department, office, or agency, period. Town council may adopt policies and procedures
With
regard to such transfers.
to limitations on such transfers. No, it's okay.
Limitations on such transfers pursuant to section
Section 2 of this
242,
charter.
period, of this charter.
Right.
Okay.
And 3,
The town council may, upon recommendation of the town manager through the finance director, transfer part or all of any unencumbered appropriation balance from one department, office, or agency to another.
Back up.
I like that.
Is that okay?
Are we all in favor
All in
Yes.
favor?
of this change? Okay, so Ms. Long getting typed up on the next minutes. 'Cause I was
I
like,
got it. It's all good, right? Yeah.
all right, wow, I think that might work.
I just think administratively, it just makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, but and again, if they agree to the change, it's in charter, so it's no longer that thing that everybody's just like, you can't go against charter. only for 20 years.
I'd like to know when the change was made. When that 9/11 was changed to this.
Right, because you got the original adopted in 73.
Yeah.
74 technically was effective.
We have
But
dates.
then there were changes.
Yes, I'm gonna try to find out. I'm gonna have her pull all these date changes.
It's got chapter 6417. These are acts of 86, 87, 90, 97. So I'm not so sure they changed much of the rest of the chart, or they just changed.
No, but it should be, if we pull out the, she should have a number of copies of the changes of what they were before.
Right.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it. Okay.
I'll figure it out.
That's really cool. That was a good one. What was the other one when we got through the town manager thing? Too, that felt good. This feels good like that. When we got that paragraph, it made sense. Oh, well. Okay, section 13, moving on. Your turn, Ken.
My turn, okay. 1013-1. No appropriation for debt service may be reduced, restricted, limited, or transferred, and no appropriation may be reduced below any amount required by law to be appropriated or by more than the amount of the unencumbered balance thereof. The supplemental and emergency appropriations and reduction or transfer of appropriations authorized by this section may be made effective immediately upon adoption.
Thoughts?
So again, I'm sorry to do this, but this will have to be flagged because I don't think that's a valid statement. The supplemental and emergency appropriations authorized by this section may be made effective immediately upon adoption. I don't think that's the case. I think statute requires a secondary approval by the Director of Accounts. But I need to look at that.
Okay. Ever.
This is pretty much what's in the other one.
Is it?
Hmm.
So it makes you wonder if, but a statute, when it changed or when it was adopted.
Section 12 is the same
Right.
in the old one.
Right, but it's maybe too old is what the
Yeah.
problem might be. Mass may
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
the rules.
So we're flagging section 13.
1013.
Yep.
Yep.
1013.
Okay.
Lots of appropriations.
So Pam's gonna research that too.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the same statute as 1010-1, so.
Right. But you have that knowledge of yours for the government side of it. It just,
Yeah.
okay, so 1014, take it away.
Oh,
Last with appropriations.
Mhm.
Every appropriation, except an appropriation for a capital expenditure, shall lapse at the close of the fiscal year to the extent that it has not been expended or encumbered. An appropriation for a capital expenditure shall continue in force until the purpose for which it was made has been accomplished or abandoned.
Now, I was thinking, when you abandon stuff, usually doesn't require a vote of council to come back or do different things. Like if you want to use it for a different purpose, you have to re-vote it, correct? It doesn't have to be abandoned, it says accomplished or abandoned.
right. So if it's abandoned, statute requires you to vote, right, for another
Right.
purpose. If it's a borrowing article, it can only be used for something that you can borrow for the same or longer period of time. It can't,
Right.
In the old one, though, Pam, 913-1, it says the purpose of any such appropriation shall be deemed abandoned if 3 years pass without any disbursement from or encumbrances of the appropriation.
Mm.
For capital
So they gave it a 3 years time.
For capital?
It's in the lapse thing here, yeah.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, the purpose of any such appropriation shall be deemed abandoned if 3 years pass without any disbursement from or encumbrances of the appropriation.
It's kind of a nice little thing to
So in other words, if you didn't use your capital expenditures
Going
within
back.
3 years, it's going back.
It's actually good that that's not in there any longer, especially with what we've just gone through with COVID. So,
COVID, yeah, but that was taken out.
Interesting. Okay, so we're good on that section?
yep, that's good.
Moving on to 10:15:1, payments and obligations prohibited. Oh, yeah. No payment shall be made or obligation incurred against any appropriation except in accordance with appropriations duly made, and unless the town manager or his or her designee first certifies that there is a sufficient unencumbered balance in such appropriation to cover the claim or meet the obligation when it becomes due and payable.
Okay, so town manager, it's the town accountant is the only one who can certify the availability of appropriation, not the town manager.
Well, it does say town manager or his or her designee, but you're saying the TM can't do it at all.
Town manager doesn't have that ability. It has to be the town accountant, finance director.
And
whoever
that's by law.
Yes, yep. Certification of appropriations is 4433 maybe. Let's see.
So is it by town accountant or town finance? What is it?
Town accountant. It's a town accountant, a comptroller, someone with that, the town auditor, someone with that power.
Okay, so how do you specify that? By finance, town finance department? Did you just say finance department, or did you say a person?
Town accountant.
You
In
just said town
Southbridge's case, it's the town accountant, right?
Okay, well, I know it's not right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
It's got to be town accountant. And not his or her designee either.
No,
so it should be duly made unless the town, and unless the town accountant, Pam?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the town accountant, not the town manager.
Certifies.
That's not even in the old one.
Okay, yeah, it is.
Yeah, wait, right here, yeah. Okay.
So again, I would say that it probably has to do with the fact that the laws changed, or, Massachusetts changed something in the statutes, and therefore.
Well, that's been around for at least 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I mean, that was around when I was the accountant in Southbridge. That's a long time ago.
Right, but this charter is older than that. But this charter is. Which,
73.
No, that other charter was,
so they didn't catch it in the last charter review.
I'm sorry?
Some of these things were caught in the last charter review.
So this is a new.
Or they didn't know.
No, right, they didn't have somebody with that knowledge, or they didn't question it. So you're good at that for us, huh?
So this is why they changed it because it's law? Law
It
changed?
would be a lot, yeah, it'd be a statute. So she'll find out.
The statute changed, okay. It would be good to put that in there.
Well, I don't think you have to, according to
Now put it
statute,
in.
actually, you say according to statute, and then that refers to any statute method. But
Okay.
it's good in our notes.
It's good so that that's what I mean. It's good for us to
These notes are
know.
gonna be fantastic for
Yeah,
future.
because
if there's a problem.
they'll know where we got them and why we made the change.
Right. Very good.
So in the statute, it says the auditor or accountant or other officer of the city or town having similar duties has certified thereon that an appropriation in the amount of such contract is available. Yeah.
So town accountant.
It's the chapter 44, section 31C.
Chapter 34 or 44?
44,
Yeah,
section 31C.
31C, okay.
And this is specific to construction contracts, but it works this way on any contract, or
Mhm.
even the goods and, I think you guys use the goods and services contract, that general contract that for 10,000
Yeah.
to 50,000. Even on there, if you look at that last page where the town manager signs off, a procurement officer, and then signs the contract, it says right there, certification is to appropriation, and that's where Karen signs.
Right, it does, yeah.
Yep.
We do that all the time, yep.
Yep.
That's cool. Good catch.
Thank you.
Okay, 10:15:2.
Is that me?
Sure.
All right. 10:15:2. Any authorization or payment or incurring of obligations in violation of this charter shall be void, and any payment so made illegal. Such action shall be cause for removal of any officer who knowingly authorized or made such payment or incurred such obligation, and he or she shall also be liable to the town for the payment for any amount so paid. However, except where prohibited by law, nothing in this charter shall be construed to prevent the making or authorizing of payment or making of contracts or capital improvements to be financed wholly or partly by the issuance of bonds, or to prevent the making of any contract or lease providing for payment beyond the end of the fiscal year, provided that such obligation is funded by appropriation or authorized by the general law.
Yep. That one we tried to invoke about 4 years ago.
That's pretty harsh.
Nothing happened.
Yeah, I mean,
So for instance, if the TM goes into a contract or whatever against the charter in terms of having council vote for it or do something, then they can be removed. Because they're obligated.
that's what this says.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
In short, long and short, as they said. And the other part where it said the auditor, the town council will vote on the auditor, and yet somehow we ended up with an auditor with no vote by council.
We voted on, we have, recently, we've been voting.
Oh, I know you have, yeah, but that happened.
I know,
That
right,
happened. And whatever. Beat the dead horse.
Days?
So is you good with this?
Yeah,
How do you feel
yep.
about it? All right.
Yep.
It's one good way to make sure you keep your people in line.
Finished chapter 10.
What are you doing? Oh, you even put all that stuff, okay.
There.
Get notification if there's bats in the chamber again, just so you know. So maybe we should shut our door.
You should shut that door.
We should shut the door and go over there. If somebody wants in, they can knock.
Right now.
Bats in the chamber.
It's raining, they want in. Okay.
Does that happen?
They do come in. They come in here during the day, too. Nick was known as Batman. He used to go around and catch him with a glove.
Yeah, thank God for Nick. Oh my God, they used to come down the chimney, we'd slam the door shut and go running down the hall to get Nick. That was awesome.
Oh, such great history here. All right, let's move on, right? Move on, chapter 11, nominations and elections. So, Yvonne, you want to take this? You can take all of section 1.
11-1-1. The regular election for all town offices shall be by official ballot held on the second Tuesday in June, which pretty much stays the way it is, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yep, that changed.
11-1-2. Any person duly elected to any office or board shall take up the duties of his or her office on the first weekday of July, provided that he or she first shall have been sworn into the faithful performance of his or her duties. Now, the first weekday of July.
Right, doesn't mean you have a meeting, they don't necessarily have gone on council, but they can be considered a council.
But they have to be sworn in.
They go to the town clerk and get sworn in prior to the meeting.
Okay.
That's what it's been, and a lot of, even I didn't realize that, like, you know, when I first got on council, I didn't think about that. But that's.
So in other words, the reorg meeting doesn't have to take place, they don't have to be sworn in at a council meeting, they can be sworn in on the first day in July.
That's what it says.
Okay?
That gives that term end of June 30th to the old council.
Yeah.
Because the election is 3 weeks before. Now, it used to be the That used to be a little trickier because the election was the end of the month.
Yeah.
Now the election is the beginning, so there's this overlap of time that honestly I think is good because if counselors, new counselors are doing their diligence, they'll be attending those meetings, hearing what's going on, and then be able to jump right in when time comes.
Okay. 11-13, all provisions of the general law with regard to town elections shall apply except as may herein be provided by this charter.
Can we go against general law?
I was just gonna, can we do
Or we
something?
can do better than general law, perhaps, right? How's that work?
Right, so the charter can be more restrictive or, yeah.
So there's that term, except as may herein be provided by charter. That's a good line, you know, for any area of charter.
So all that stays the same?
Yeah. Okay, section 2, eligibility of town voters, 11.2.1. Any registered voter of the town hall, of the town, shall, it's all town, shall, I went to town hall. Town shall be eligible for election to any elected office or board of the town except as otherwise limited by this charter. Okay. Section 3, go ahead, Pam.
It says, can I say something first, Pam? It says here in the old charter that any registered voter of the town shall be eligible for election to any elective office or board of the town except as limited by section 2-2-1 and 5-2-1.
Right, it's in there, but I think when you start putting in the section numbers, and then if you have a change charter again,
Well,
then,
that's what I'm wondering why.
because we know, yeah, we're looking at the old charter, it's got, the numbers are
Yeah,
not the same as
no.
the newer charter.
Right.
Okay,
So I think maybe they eliminated the numbers, because we know there's a section in here about eligibility.
okay.
Is it a whole, is it, yeah, is it one whole section? What do you think, refer back or just leave it?
Leave it.
Yeah, leave it.
People need, and capitalized charter, we keep, gotta remember to do that stuff too.
Yeah, I've been doing.
You've been? Okay, good.
Well, I'm not, but I mean, when I go through the final
Yeah.
version, we will.
Okay, I just, I'm looking at that.
I'm figuring we'll deal with content now and then all that other stuff when we're done.
All right, great. Keep going. Where was that?
We're up to 11-2-3. Pam?
Section.
All right. Let's see, section 3, filling of vacancies in elected town offices. 11-3-1. A vacancy in the office of town councilor, whether caused by death, resignation, removal, or recall, shall be filled by a special election to be called within 30 days of said vacancy, unless a regular town election will occur within 180 days. Filling of vacancies in town boards other than the town council shall be by joint convention of the town council and the remaining members of said board.
I don't really read that like that.
No, that's,
Because a lot of times there's an opening and council just, except for the school board,
that we do joint for
you
school.
always do.
We always do joint for school.
But this says it's
Yeah,
the
board.
council and the board that would put in a new member, not just the council.
Well, would that be considered
Board
the,
versus committee, it's all the
well,
same.
the new board member would go to subcommittee and then to town manager and then on council?
It's not what it
But
says.
that's not what it's
Joint
saying, it's
convention.
saying joint though, so I,
I mean, of course, our subcommittees are joint, but you don't
Yeah.
usually get the councilors to all show up.
So how does, I'm sorry, how does this work now? Is this an issue? How does this work now? You have a joint meeting with the board that has a vacancy, correct?
that's what it says,
That's what
but
it
that's not what we
says.
do.
But you, what? You don't?
No.
No.
What we do is when there's a vacancy on a board, we try to fill that vacancy, they fill out the interest form. The person goes to subcommittee. Well, the board is, the board chairperson is contacted and told that we have this person and we send it the information, but then it goes to subcommittee and then it goes to council. It's not a joint meeting of the board and the council.
With the exception that our joint meeting, our council, our subcommittee meetings are joint, but they're not joint in the terms that the councilors will get to vote. The councilors can attend. We post our subcommittees, I think you might remember that.
Right.
And we went through where it's a joint meeting, that way councils could go and participate. They couldn't vote, but they could go and participate.
But
That's
this,
something.
but
This is
is
different.
saying a joint
Yeah, this is
convention
saying,
of the board.
right,
We notify the board chairpersons that they have they know they have a vacancy. We let them know, like today, I just did that. We send them the information and we tell them this person's applying to be on your board. Let me know if you have any issues with that. And then we submit it to subcommittee. They obviously get invited to the subcommittee, but they don't necessarily, it's not a joint meeting of the board and the council.
the council, in other words, ratifies.
Yeah.
Well, that's a violation of the charter.
Oh, well, I know that, but I never knew that.
Yeah, none of us really,
I don't think they consider it the same.
how many times have
And this is the norm. I mean, this is how that works, is that,
So you're telling me that the whole agricultural commission and all these other boards would have to come to a meeting with the council
Are those
to put that
elected?
person on?
well, here's the problem. It says town boards.
Yeah.
We have boards, committees, whatever, commissions.
no, I know, but it's under section 3, filling of vacancies on elected town offices. So these are elected boards that are elected, like the school committee.
Yeah, we
Well,
do
school
that.
committee's joint.
Yes, we do that.
Okay, so what else is elected?
Can't think of anything else.
Elected boards.
There are some people on the redevelopment authority.
Oh, right, that's
We-
true. But that's by the governors, oh, no.
No, but we do that. When it's a redevelopment elected position, it does go before council with a joint redevelopment authority type of thing.
Okay,
I've
that's the
done
only
that.
time this would come into play, is if it's an elected.
Elected board.
So that should say.
It should say elected.
So this
Oh,
should
well,
say elected here. It should say filling of vacancies in elected town boards.
I think that would just,
I
yeah,
mean, it's
That
under
won't
that
be in vain.
section, but yes, it would make it more clear.
Yeah.
yeah, because look, we all just said what we said here going, huh?
It's just not clear.
Well, it's under it, but it, yeah. That's what we keep saying, let's clarify, let's make it easy for people to not have a brain melt when they're reading it.
Or filling a vacancy, do we have, well, like the redevelopment authority, you have
Yeah,
a mishmash, you have some appointed, some elected,
Right.
some, so maybe filling of vacancies of elected members on town boards? Or elected positions on town boards?
Elected town board members.
no, I like it. The filling of vacancies of elected positions on
Town boards,
boards.
right,
other than the town council.
right, because it may not be a fully elected town board, but
Right.
if it's an elected, if it's an appointed member of the redevelopment authority, then you don't have to do this.
No.
All right, so filling of vacancies of elected,
Elected positions on town boards other than the town council shall be by joint convention of the council and the remaining members of said board.
council. All right,
Okay?
yep, that's good, that's more clear. All right, where we at?
That was scary for a minute.
There's
Section
one,
4.
yeah.
An elected officer of the town may be recalled and removed from public office by the voters of the town as herein provided. Any voter of the town may file with the town clerk a petition containing the name and title, together with a statement of the grounds for his or her removal. Said petition shall be signed in ink or inedible pen by qualified voters of the town equal to at least 10% of the voters registered at the last municipal election, provided that no recall petition may be filed against any officer until he or she shall have held office for at least 6 months. Said petition shall be accompanied by affidavits as to the authenticity of signatures signed and sworn to by each circulator. Said petition shall then be filed with the Board of Registrars of Voters for certification. Within 10 days from such filing, the Board of Registrars of Voters shall check each name to be certified and shall certify thereon the number of signatures so checked, and shall report the results to the persons filing the petition and the town clerk and the town council.
Is that pretty standard, the 10%?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we-
it's a very difficult hill to climb.
Okay.
So that should stay.
Sure. Okay, 11.42. Upon presentation of the certified petition to the town council, it shall become the duty of the town council within 30 days after the receipt thereof to order a special election, which shall take place within 90 days, but no sooner than 65 days after presentation of the certified petition to the council. No such election shall be ordered if the term of office of such elected official shall expire within 120 days from the date of the original filing, or if such elected officer shall resign from such office before the election. Said recall election shall be called and conducted in the same manner as is provided in the general laws for the call and conduct of special election. Yes.
All right. 11.43, the form of the question to be voted upon shall be substantially as follows. Shall here insert the name and title of the elected officer whose recall is sought, be recalled. A majority vote of the voters to recall such elective officer shall not be effective unless a total of at least 15% of the electorate entitled to vote on the question shall have voted. Recall of such elective officer shall become effective upon certification of the results of the voting thereon, regardless of any technical deficiency in the recall petition.
I know that's come up before, I think, where some people
Just
just
recently.
recently saying, what if you don't get the voters out?
So we just went through all of this with the fire statement. So that stays. Stays, Pam?
We can just replace all this with it is impossible to recall an elective officer. I mean, really, when do you get 15% of the electorate
Oh, that's gonna be
vote? You know what I mean? When does that happen?
Yeah. Right, that's,
It's funny that they want the town manager removed by a majority, but then this is in here.
all right. Finish this off with those two sections.
Okay. No person having been recalled or having resigned from office while recall proceedings were pending against him or her shall be appointed to any town office within 2 years following said recall or resignation.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
You say it depends. I mean, sometimes people recall people just because they've got a grudge. You know, it's not necessarily because they did anything either. Depends on.
That's a good time, I think.
So is that pretty standard in your knowledge? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't prevent them from running for office again, but this is preventing them from being appointed anyway, so.
Okay. Ready. You can finish the lesson notes.
Sure. Section 5-1, election to all town offices established by this charter shall be by plurality of those voting on each office. Stays, right?
It's the exact same as the old charter, so that stays. Okay. Well, that was easy. That was like a. See, sometimes that's the kind of thing, it's like one little word that's put in, that's what we're just getting clear on. Right, where are we? Order D.
We're at 11.
So let's see, 12.
Kind of lengthy. Want to start with that next time?
I don't know,
Or
we'll
we'll keep
get
going?
through this.
Huh?
We're gonna talk about the future meetings, so let's get through some more.
Want to what?
We'll keep going.
Okay.
I'm good, are you going, you good? Yeah,
I'm good.
okay. Chapter 12, general provisions, section 1, initiative, petition, and referendum. 12.1.1, the voters of the town shall have the power to propose bylaws and other measures within the authority of the town council by initiative petition, and to review bylaws and other measures as set forth in section 12.1 of this charter by referendum in accordance with the procedures established by this charter. Okay. Let's go find out what the procedures are. 12.1.2, any election at which an initiative petition or referendum is submitted to the voters, the polls shall be open at 7 o'clock in the morning and shall be closed not earlier than 8 o'clock in the evening, and all votes upon any questions so submitted shall be taken by ballot. See that? Thanks.
Section 2, ineligible measures. 12-2-1, none of the following shall be subject to the initiative or referendum procedures. 1, proceedings relating to the internal organization or operation of the town council or of the school committee. 2, an emergency measure adopted in conformity with the charter. 3, the town budget or the school committee budget as a whole. 4, revenue loan orders. 5, any appropriation for the payment of the town's debt or debt service. 6, an appropriation of funds to implement a collective bargaining agreement. 7, proceedings relating to the election, appointment, removal, discharge, employment, promotion, transfer, demotion, or other personnel action. 8, any proceedings repealing or rescinding a measure or part thereof, which is protested by referendum procedures. And 9, any proceeding provided for the submission or referral to the voters at an election.
It's a weird one.
What are revenue loan orders? I mean, is that borrowing?
I would think that's what I thought it was. That's what I thought it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, borrowing, okay. That must have been from the first charter, the very first one.
I'm looking to see if I see it in the review.
Should we change it to borrowing? No, leave it.
Well, I mean, if it's been in here that long,
Yeah,
that's not a term I'm familiar with.
Right. So maybe we should ask.
Yeah, what
like
exactly?
finance or
I'm
something and say,
assuming
what do
it's
you-
borrowing authorizations. I'm assuming that's what that is, but
you want me to check on that?
yeah, can you?
Yep. Number 4, revenue loan
Ask her in the whole context.
versus borrowing in context.
Borrowing authorization.
Yep,
What makes more sense?
in context. Okay, I will do that.
All right.
Ready.
It's the only one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gee, I don't understand number 9. Why don't I understand that?
Number 9.
Yeah. Proceeding, providing submission or referral to the voters.
I'm not quite sure what that means either.
Right, I don't understand that. It's an ineligible measure, so you can't have a petition, you can't have an initiative or referendum procedure. None of the following shall be subject to the initiative or referendum procedure. Any proceeding providing for the submission or referral to the voters at an election. Something that the council referred to the voters to vote on? I mean, I don't understand what that means, but it's in there.
It seems to be like a whole new section.
That's what that means? I don't know. Do you know where that went?
And it's not even in the general provisions of the old one. It must be new.
It's in the old, but I'm
It's
sure.
not in the old, it would be chapter 11.
Yeah, but I'm seeing there.
It's not there either.
It's percentages, 5% of registered voters, 5, used to be 5%. Special election, there's no paragraph for these ineligible measures.
I mean, does that mean you can't file an initiative petition to change the way
Something is already.
an initiative petition is filed? I mean, that's what, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Like I said, I was thinking it's something that was already gonna go to the voters in an election, and they can't have this special one to say, it can't go to the voters in an election, at election. Do you know what I mean? Like, say the charter, okay, so council refers the charter changes to the people for an election. So you can't have a petition to go against that? I'm trying to think what else you could send to the people. It's very strange.
I don't know.
Maybe just go put a question, send it up to, when we do our changes, maybe that could just be like question mark, and ask if anybody else knows what it means. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, would town council know what that means?
I don't. You don't. You are on it.
I don't know. No, I mean, town.
Oh, the council, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. Legal
Council, sorry.
Will they check on that one too?
Yeah, throw it on your legal,
Yeah, I'm just wondering what that means.
Any proceeding providing a submission or referral to the voters at an election. Any proceeding providing a submission at an election. So that's what I'm saying. A proceeding. So council voted to send something for the election.
And we can't change it. It has to go through.
Petition can't say you can't do it. The council voted legally to send something to get voted on. A petition can't stop that from happening. That's what I think it means, technically.
I'm at a loss.
It's my best guess.
All
Right?
right, I'll check that one out.
Section 3. Who's going?
Me, I guess, initiative petition. The voters of the town may initiate legislation by submitting a petition to the town council which requests the submission of the proposed bylaw or measure to a vote of the town council. Said petition must be signed by qualified voters of the town equal in number to not less than 5% of the total number of voters registered at the last regular town election. Each copy of the petition shall have attached to it of the proposed legislation. Said petition shall then be filed with the Board of Registrars of Voters for certification. So this is for changes with bylaws, right?
Yeah, basically, it's somebody else trying to change
Yeah.
what they've got.
So that's pretty much stays.
They send it up, but then the town council still votes. Right? To a vote of the council.
Right, Pam?
So, I mean, this is outside of town council. This is residents requesting a bylaw, right?
Yeah.
They're requesting council vote on something they want changed.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
12(3-2).
I'll take 12.3.2, within 10 days from such filing, the Board of Registrars of Voters shall check each name to be certified, shall certify their own number of signatures so checked, and shall report the results to the persons filing the petition to the town clerk and the town council. Excuse me. 12.3.3, upon presentation of the certified petition to the town council, it shall become the duty of the town council within 30 days of receipt thereof to pass and adopt or reject such bylaw or measure without alteration as to meaning or effect. Should the town council reject the proposed legislation, it shall be the further duty of the town council to formally submit the question to a vote at the next regular town election, at which the qualifying voters of Southbridge shall vote on the question of adopting or rejecting the proposed legislation. I don't remember that. So they say no, they still get to get it voted by everybody else. And it's only 5%. Versus. Well, what do you think?
So if town council votes to reject for legal reasons, they still have to put it before the voters?
I don't think it's for legal reasons. It says
They must pass or reject without alteration as to meaning or effect.
well,
It's a
That
certified
doesn't make
petition.
sense to me.
right, but so wouldn't something you ask have to be legal? Right, so how do we make sure that whatever they're asking you to do is legal? The petition has to be legal. The initiative,
So anyone could submit anything, and council may be required to reject it.
it's, proposed bylaw or measure. That's a lot. There's a
But if they
rule.
reject it, it has to go to the voters. That doesn't make sense.
Right. But you would think that, you're right, there should be almost something in the initiative, the first one, 12.3.1, that it has to be, it cannot be anything against the Commonwealth or any laws, or something, you know.
Right, it has to meet the legal requirements for,
Meets legal, anything for the Commonwealth or
I mean, I don't know.
or federal, anything, it's actually gonna meet all legal requirements. So it's a petition that meets legal requirements, I don't know. No, it's never been there, so.
I have no clue what that means.
I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me.
I think it makes sense that it can go to the people, all the people who decide, not just the councilors. But
Right.
like you said, whatever's going needs to be a lot legal.
Right. And it needs to be presented and submitted in a form that is, I mean, how do we say that? In a,
Let's see.
Well, it says in
Well,
the first part, right here.
Ineligible measures, remember, they can't do any of those things up there. So those are the ineligible things.
And
Maybe
then-
that's where there needs to be something about, it can't be anything again, that is counter to state law or whatever, or state federal. So I'm saying in that ineligible measure section. But
I mean,
those-
if someone submits a petition for a bylaw, do we then serve up town council, SEL, legal counsel, to make sure that it's in a format that can even be considered? I don't know.
Shouldn't they have had to do that?
Correct. You know, is that the case? Do we want to say that it's incumbent upon them that they submit it in a form that is
And it
eligible
says
for
that it has to
consideration by town
accompany it,
council?
and it has to have a copy of the proposed legislation attached to it.
Right, so there's where you can get, if they're gonna put the proposed legislation, which meets all legal.
All legal tax. it
All
has to be
legal
attached.
requirements or something.
It has to be attached to that. And then the petition is filed with the Board of Registrars for certification.
Yeah, but the petition, you can write a petition for anything.
Yeah,
But what does it mean that each petition will have a copy of the proposed legislation?
the proposed legislation is the bylaw.
Is the bylaw.
Or a measure.
Yeah, or the measure.
Or me-
Because
or
they-
measure,
because they can,
Yeah,
a measure is a rule or law, or whatever they could say, we want, the new law is that town council can't wear blue hats, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
but then the
You know what I'm
proposed
saying? They can
legislation
do,
supports that.
they could do that, you know what I mean?
Or the town hall must be open till midnight, you know, or
Right.
whatever.
Right,
Because council can make rules and measures and, you know, never see, or the council, the meetings need to do something else, you know, whatever, they can propose something.
I think this is too open-ended. It doesn't put any restrictions, and it wouldn't even be town council like saying, well, this is ridiculous. It may be their hands are tied and they're not able to legally consider a bylaw that's submitted to them, and yet it says that if they vote to reject, they are required to forthwith submit the question to a vote at the next annual town election. Well,
That's a pretty big.
right, this doesn't make any sense to me.
It's probably it sounds like it's something technically discussed that way. Or what do other towns must have initiative petition type stuff. Is it in, let's see what we got here.
I think this is more of a city thing. This is our city side.
It's the city side.
Yeah,
It's rearing its
Which we
head.
ignore.
this is us showing our city side.
Well, if I realized it was gonna be that easy to do something, I could have just got.
I know.
5%'s not that bad, right? I can stand on the street corner and have people sign things they didn't first. What to do about that? I think that's something though that needs to be discussed more, like with.
Yeah, we need to do some
We need
research.
input on that. I mean, maybe that's one of those things, what if we were to send stuff, if there's anything like that, this is probably a big one, and maybe we have a few others, maybe we should actually send it to councilors, just, or, ahead of time, I don't know, get input, I don't know.
This?
Well, I don't know, just.
And ask them what they think?
No, okay, so.
No offense to the individual in the room, however, yeah,
Okay, so, well, no, I guess I'm just
I don't
trying
think
to.
you're gonna get a lot of input.
Okay, all right, well, yeah, councilors are the ones who have to deal with voting on something like this, I was trying to be. Okay. So then, what do we do with this?
I think we need to do some research into other communities and see how they handle it and what their language says.
Okay, that's a good idea. So it's a huge flag, but it's about the research to see other people. I mean, it's easy
I
to
mean,
find.
they probably have standing bylaw committees that it has to go through a vetting process before it gets to this level, before it gets to council.
But again, it's not, you keep saying bylaw, it's not just bylaw, it's this measure. Why do they get to do that, rules, regulations?
Right.
So easily. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, this needs some work, I think.
Yeah, or at least some questions, somebody should question it.
Mhm.
All right, did you make a note? Section 3, the entire section. Did you see it, the old one?
That's what I'm looking at now.
I didn't see it.
If you look at the old referendum thing,
What page are you on?
I'm on page 25 of the old thing, section 3. There's a whole thing here, that's what I was reading. A vote passed by the town council authorizing the expenditure of $20,000 or more as special appropriation, or establishing a new board office, or abolishing an old board office, or merging two or more board offices, or fixing the terms of town offices where such term is optional, or increasing or reducing the number of members of a board, adopting a new bylaw, or amending an existing bylaw shall not be operative until 5 days after expiration of 5 days, exclusive of Sundays. And then it says, if within said 5 days, a petition signed by not less than 5% of the registered voters of the town containing their names and addresses as they appear on the list of registered voters filed with the town clerk, asking that the question or questions involved in such a vote be submitted to the registered voters of the town at large, then the town council, after the expiration of 5 days, shall forthwith call the special election. So does that all have to somehow or other?
But that's a referendum.
I know that, but it's in, they've taken out the referendum we have here. It looks like.
No, referendum is section 4. Referendum is different than initiative petition.
But this is what's in this section that opposed to this kind of.
Right, I'm still looking for initiative petition.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't understand it.
Right here, the voters of the town may initiate legislation by submitting a petition to the council which requests the submission of the proposed bylaw or measure to a vote of the council. Said petition must be signed by qualified voters. Town to equal 2% total number of voters registered in the last election. Each copy.
Look at 1124.
Yeah.
Should the council reject the proposed bylaw or measure, the voters of the town within 20 days may petition the council to submit the question to a vote at a special election to be held within 90 days. That's a problem. At which the qualified voters of the Southbridge shall vote on the question of adopting or rejecting the proposed legislation. Said petition must be signed by qualified voters of the town equal in number to 5% of the total number of voters registered last election. Each copy of the petition shall attach to it a copy. Okay.
But see, at least there, it goes, so council has the right to reject, right?
And then it's up to the people.
In the old one, right? Then if they say, okay, well, they rejected it, we'll let it go. But then if they feel very strongly about it, then no, we're not letting this go. But then it puts it back on them to then.
To get the votes. Yeah.
Correct. But
then I don't like the special election, because that's a problem.
No, the next, I think it should be the same as, what is it, the next regular town election.
That's what it says.
But I don't think, should the town council reject the proposed legislation, it shall be the further duty of the town council to forthwith submit, there's no stop there, there's no pause.
Right.
They reject, and then they have to put it on the next regular election. No. They reject, let the petitioners then decide, okay, let it go for now, or no, this is really important. And then they have to petition the town council again.
Right. The only thing I see on that is that they only have 20 days to get their 5%. So on the one we've got, isn't there more than, well, there's actually no, on a referendum, that's an initiative. Let's see, on the initiative.
The voters of the town within 20 days may petition the town council to submit the question.
Right, so the difference on the initiative petition on 12 is that they can just take their time and take as long as they want to get the 5%. On, section 1231.
No, I'm not saying to do anything with that. I'm saying down at 1233. At the time of rejection,
right?
If they reject, it says that then the town council must.
Oh, I understand.
I think it should say there that then should the town council reject the proposed bylaw or measure, the voters of the town within 20 days may petition the town council to submit it on the next. And again, I think I agree with you. I think it should be at the next regular town election.
Not a special election.
Not a special election, right.
So the only thing I was saying was, so I agree with you that it should not be as open as it is. But on the other hand, I feel that the 20 days to get the 5% signatures seems quite restrictive. Because on a regular, on the one that exists now, they can take years to get 5%. It doesn't even give you a timeline that they're actually collecting signatures.
Right.
And I realize that's after they already put in their 2% and the council voted no, but then it only gives them 20 days to get all the signatures and then go back to council to get it done. on the election. So I feel as though they should have maybe more, like 30 days,
12-3 says 30 days
which were
in the new one.
12-3.
12-3 says within 30 days of receipt thereof.
No, that's within 30 days, the council has to vote.
Where do you see 20 days for anything?
On the old one.
Oh, okay.
1124.
All right,
So
that's
So on the old one,
they
they take as long as they want, they get
2%
2% voters,
Yeah.
and they give it to the council. The council votes it. If they reject it, then within 20 days, the petitioners have to get 5% of the signatures, and then ask for it to go on an election. Of course, on the old one, it says the election's within 90 days, but that's crazy, that's just too fast. So I'm just, yes,
But you don't want a special election,
have to cost a fortune. So they took all that out, they said it goes on the next election. That makes sense. But I was just saying, I think it just seems like 20 days to get 5% seems short. I felt bad. So I would suggest we go with 30 days. You see what we see here? I don't know, I'm talking to Chairman Daniel. That's kind of like an open-ended, anything they ever want, they can get you on. So that's a little tricky. And it's not bad, I mean, obviously, people in the town have rights, it's just, it shouldn't be unreasonable rights, they shouldn't be open-ended more so than the council. Because to me, it's not so much the bylaw I worry about, yes, it needs to be legal, but it's that word measure. I mean, the idea that they can create a rule, a law, enact a measure, law, regulation, whatever, is pretty serious. So I just think, it shouldn't be open-ended, that, the council voted and now it's going to the people. I mean, that's just, yeah, I like the first one, but with some changes. Or
I agree.
combination.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. So, why don't you tell Lon what it's going to say?
Where are we at now? What section am I changing?
Well, it's a combination,
It's-
so.
I know it's a combination, but is it 12-3-3 here on the new one? And
Yeah.
we're putting in what was 11-2-4 on the old one?
Not exactly.
Not exact, I know, but that's where the changes are coming from. Okay,
Yes.
But we still haven't addressed the issue of whether or not what they submit is appropriate, in appropriate form, or in legal form, or.
Well, when council rejects, they should have to state why they're rejecting, not just because. If they're rejecting as a matter of law,
Right.
or as a matter of, they should say that. And then it gives the petitioners the right to go back and fix it
And do, yeah.
and do it again.
Or
Without,
say,
because right now, the way it says it, if they reject it, it's got to go to the voters.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. Then you're gonna, you're gonna leave it in the voters' hands, and they may adopt something that's illegal, or
right,
that doesn't make no sense.
right. It's a good idea, but it's not legal, right?
Correct.
Okay. So then the first set, 1231, you're okay with?
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with 1231.
Okay. So they're gonna get 5% then, and another 5% after again, if it's rejected.
Well, I don't know. We should talk about that. I don't know if it really doesn't have to meet that high of a standard.
For
Yeah,
getting
it
into
probably
town.
should, but I think the timing, it should be 30 days instead of 20.
Right, on the rejection. Oh my gosh, this is like ridiculous for those who don't know the
well,
light
try
show.
working here all day long when your lights go out.
There should be a way that you
moving.
can
There
turn it
isn't,
on.
we tried.
Yeah. These were the energy saving lights.
Yeah, they're energy saving, all right, everybody thinks we're cool.
Sometimes we're in the dark.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye, thank you for coming.
Yes, we appreciate it. I hope you enjoy that.
I've been watching you right along.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Okay. So do we want to recommend a lower percentage on the first petition to get something to council? Or do you want to leave it at 5?
No, I think it should be 5, but I think the length of time should be longer.
All right. then,
All right, so the length of time, where's the length of time?
all right, let's see, each day, so 1232 is good. It's the 1233.
Okay, so 1233 is the one we're gonna change.
Let's see, pass the bylaw measure, yeah.
Okay,
So the first sentence is fine.
so upon presentation of a certified petition to the town council, it shall be the duty of the town council within 30 days of receipt thereof to pass and adopt or reject such bylaw or measure without alteration as to the meaning or effect.
Mhm.
That
Right.
stays.
That stays, but now we have to work on the rest. The rest
All
of
right, so
that.
that's, I'm gonna leave that one there, that's gonna be the first sentence.
So then you put in 1124.
Right.
And, right, so in 1124, you gotta bear with me here.
That's okay.
All right, so 1124, what do you wanna say?
Write what it says.
Yep.
Should the town council reject the proposal, bylaw, or measure, the voters of the town within 30 days
Within 30
Correct.
days, okay.
may petition the town council to submit the question to a vote at the next regular election.
Okay, we'll go at the
Is
next,
that what it says? At the
It
next
says-
regular town election.
at the next town election, right?
Yeah.
You want regular in there or just town election?
At the
Yes,
next
regular. Yeah.
Regular town election.
Yeah.
Wait, I like that. And then it's,
Okay,
so what does it say after?
to be held within 90 days thereafter?
No,
No.
No, well, I'm just asking you.
I just told you, at the next regular town election,
I got
has
that.
nothing to do with 90 days.
Okay, but
That's a
that's the
special
next
election.
sentence.
Okay, just wait. If, and so then.
Yvonne, you can keep going in that sentence. Next regular town election at which the qualified voters of Southbridge shall vote on the question of adopting or rejecting the proposed legislation.
Okay,
Okay.
but is it within 90 days?
Nope.
No. Okay,
Nope.
that's what I want to know. I'm sorry if I'm frustrating you, but I'm the one who's gonna put this together.
Right,
I wanna
right,
make sure
right.
it's
Okay,
right.
so you're not doing 90 because we're doing it at the regular
Right,
election.
and that's why I want to be clear.
Okay, so cross off to be held within
I
90
did
days.
that, I did that,
Okay.
okay.
But
Okay,
within
go ahead.
the at which.
Yep,
Okay.
go ahead.
Let's see.
And then go back to 1124.
Yeah. Well, I stay there, that's what this other
That
stuff is.
petition
Okay,
must be signed by qualified voters of the town, equal in number to 5% of the total number of voters registered at the last regular town election. And then just do the right, Denise, the rest
Yeah,
of
I believe so,
the
yeah.
paragraph. Yep.
Yep,
so
and
keep the
finish
rest
off.
of it?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yep,
so this will
finish
be
it
the
off, yeah.
second paragraph,
right.
okay. All right,
That would make so much sense.
Now, we have to go to 1125, because we have to continue that, because now they're filing another petition.
Right. So we have to add that as well. Oh, yeah.
Right, but we're not gonna keep that part of the special election, though. It's going to the next regular town election.
within 10 days from such filing,
But we are,
right, Pam? That section there?
Hold on. Yeah, so
That all stays.
within 10 days of such filings, voter registrar shall check, and the town council, upon presentation of the certified petition to the town council.
see, it's right backwards.
Yeah,
So that section should have been, hang on, let's see. A petition of town council. Said petition to be signed. Each copy shall be attached to a copy. Said petition shall then be filed with the registrars. The registrar shall vote.
Yeah, and this is telling you what the board of registrars needs to do.
I think it just ends at town council,
I agree.
under 1125,
Yep,
that halfway point where it ends at
at
town
town
council.
council and take out all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and the town
Unless you
council,
need, within 30 days, you get to order to be put on the next regular election, but that's redundant.
It is redundant.
okay.
All right, so that gets.
So are we making that another section, or are we just adding it to the 12.3? This 11.25 now becomes part of 12.3 as a third sentence, right?
11.
No, that should be 12.4.
So it's going to be 12.3.4.
Yep.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, so, yeah, the rest of that doesn't matter, just. Okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Yep.
Okay,
That makes sense. That's good. I like that.
you like that?
Yeah, I like that. It just didn't make sense that you reject it and then it's like, all right, town council, your rejection means nothing. Now it's got to go to the voters, no matter what.
The councilors were voted to make decisions.
Yeah, no matter if it says, Jack Jovan has to wear, pink shorts to every town council meeting. I don't know.
Right, or the lights have to be left on, or.
Right.
All right, that's good. Well, it's 11:20. Do we want to hit referendum? Not sure if there's a.
You want to stop here?
We can stop here. It's been a while. I think Yvonne's had a long day too.
Yep.
So we'll pick up referendum. I think we did. Initiative petition, who was us?
All right, and we have homework. I like homework. All right. Now, next meetings.
Yeah. Let's see.
And I will send you what we did last night at the meeting. I'll scan it and send it to you tomorrow, okay?
Okay, yeah. My fault, I should have looked at the agenda because I actually didn't work last night, so.
Oh,
Two things. Are your Wednesdays changing at some point in terms of being able to have.
My Wednesdays change after Labor Day.
Right, okay, it's good to know. So the option is to, the option is to meet a second week or the 10th, skip a week. I leave on the morning of the 11th, but I could do the 10th if we started, if I know now we're going to do the 10th, I could do it.
I can do the 10th.
So then I am away a bit in the middle there, the business trip and family stuff. That's why I was asking when your Wednesdays change. Is there any chance then you can, wait, you said it changes, after Labor Day?
Yeah.
No, so the first you're not, yeah, okay. I was thinking the 1st of September.
But, I don't know how Mondays look for you.
I'm not here on the 30th. I can do a remote from wherever I am too, just like everybody else. Just like, so you guys in person can get into that. I have no problem doing something remote, so then I could do a remote from where we are. I just need, if you want to keep the second, so if we were doing it every 2 weeks, that'd be the 24th. I could put that in and just plan that in.
My board may only be meeting once a month now.
Oh, so Monday instead, you're saying?
Yeah. They're meeting August 2nd, and then I'm not sure when they're going to meet again. They may not meet again until September.
So you're saying we can meet the 9th?
No, I can do, the 10th is better.
Oh.
Or is the 9th better for you?
Well, it would be because I'm leaving in the morning of the 10th, so okay. I'd rather not be out. But I would do it if I had to.
I can definitely do the 9th.
How about you? What's your Monday? Okay, that's cool. So then pick whatever's next and I'll just adapt.
All right, so we'll do the 9th.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's cool. So then the option is the 23rd or whatever. Or not Monday. Well, it's not Monday. 23rd, 24th.
I believe the month of August 2nd is going to be it.
So how do you feel about dates?
I'm okay either way.
What's your choice?
I can do any day, really.
Then.
Except the Wednesdays are not good for me, but I can change that too, so that.
Well, no, 23rd, that would be, if I'm gonna do a remote from where I'm at, 23rd would be better than 24th.
When are you coming back?
Well, that's up here. The 30th is the potential date, or it could be the 31st. That's why I'm holding the 31st off, because it may work, but I won't, I just don't know quite yet. So we could do a tentative, it's up to you, or I guess, if I'm on the 31st, then it will be, I'll be in there, I won't be able to participate in the evening, I'll be traveling. Because we just may switch it to, just a little up in the air.
So we could do the 23rd then.
Right. Yeah, I can probably just hang out with the
Is that okay with you, Pam?
Yep, the 23rd is fine.
And if we look it up as something, we could post it as an online if we want to, but it's up to you guys how we want to do that.
Yep.
I don't know. I said if we post it, we can post it that way too, knowing that there's.
Well, you don't have to post it that way if you're just gonna be the one member.
Because we're an open meeting. That's the way I looked at it. I don't think.
We're an open
It
meeting,
was
but
allowed.
there's something about the open meeting law that when you post it as a Zoom meeting and a hybrid meeting now, you have to have a majority of the presence
Right.
in the room.
No, that's not
No?
the case. No.
Okay,
If you look at KP put out a, do you guys use KP?
Yeah, we get those, you get those sometimes.
Okay, so KP put out a, on the last page of the bulletin they put out is the actual language that you need to use for hybrid and fully remote meetings.
Yeah, full hybrid and fully remote.
Yeah.
But if we're not gonna do hybrid, which means that the whole populace would be able to join us remotely.
No, fully remote, the whole populace can join you. Hybrid is when you've got some members that are in, but
Hybrid
you're
means
an open meeting.
can or can't be in, and members of the public can or can't be in, so.
But you have to put it out for the members of the public if it's hybrid?
Yes,
You do.
That's what I'm saying.
And fully remote, you have to put it out.
correct.
Right. But in this case, if you just have one member,
If it's one member that's absent, I don't see what, we don't have to, I don't think we have to put it on hybrid.
I think
I don't
tonight
believe,
would have been better
you
if
do.
were here.
You're just
I mean,
allowing
we had
access.
What, Pam?
I don't believe you do. You're just allowing access by a
Right,
member.
so I think that that's fine.
And we have a full open meeting.
Yeah.
Yes. Council Daniel's here.
Right.
But whatever, okay,
So the 23rd,
if that's agreeable.
Pam,
Yep, that works.
that's a Monday, right?
Yes.
6 o'clock?
Actually, that's gonna be an hour. I'm gonna be off. I don't know. Let me find out. Thank you. Time, I'm sorry. I don't know what the time difference is. Let's see right now. It's an hour earlier. Okay, that's fine.
Sure.
I'm just gonna put it proper on my phone. I'm gonna put me down for 5.
All right. Good.
Thank you.
All right, well, I mean, we're almost done with the main stuff, and then it's all about going back and kind of reviewing that beginning stuff, and the whole, and anything that's left over, obviously.
I'm gonna be done before
All right, we good?
midnight. Yes.
What's that? Vote to adjourn? All in, motion.
Motion
yeah.
to adjourn.
Second, you got something? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The three of us say yes.